Jumoja, radio, podcasts and news. Hey, karibu Mozalendo FM. Today I want to talk about Tanzania, the upcoming silent giant of Africa. Tanzania is in the process to become the real giant of Africa, but many people don't know. Tanzania is working slowly in silence, but people don't understand. I'm going to give you details and reasons why Tanzania is the silent real giant of Africa that's upcoming and is going to be. I'm going to start with railway. Do you know that Tanzania is going to have the fifth longest railway in the world? Not just in Africa, Tanzania is going to have the longest railway system in Africa, but the fifth longest railway in the world. If you want to see every economic power in every continent as the longest railway in that continent, look at North America. The US is the economic giant, it has the longest railway. Look at Europe. Germany is the economic giant, it has the longest railway. Look at South America. Brazil is the economic giant, it has the longest railway. You understand? If you see other countries like Japan, they have long railway system. You understand? So Tanzania here, it is making a strategy. Tanzania is building the longest railway in Africa for better transportation of their goods. If you look at Tanzania, their railway, before Tanzania starts industrializing, because right now Tanzania is building one of the biggest industrial parks in Africa. But before you build industrial parks like China did, you need a good transportation system like railway and roads that are going to transport your goods. So that's the reason Tanzania is investing a lot in railway, because Tanzania is building one of the biggest industrial parks in Africa. So by the time the industrial parks are built and Tanzania starts rapid industrialization, there is going to be an infrastructure of railway that can transport their goods. Now, after that, look at the cooperation Tanzania has with its neighbors. Many people don't know, but Tanzania has nearly with all its neighbors. It has it has a small electric dam. Tanzania has a small electric dam on the Kagera River with Uganda. Tanzania has an electric dam with Rwanda on its border. Tanzania has an electric dam with Burundi on its border. Tanzania right now, they are planning to build an electric dam with Malawi on its border. Tanzania is going to transport electricity to Kenya and Zambia. You see, so Tanzania is planning ahead. It has a good Tanzania has a good relationship with all its neighbors compared to other countries that want to be giants. Ethiopia would have been a giant, but Ethiopia doesn't have good relationship with its neighbors. So is Nigeria. Tanzania is building one of the biggest electric dams in Africa. But many people don't even know this. Now leave that alone. Let's go now to diplomacy. Tanzania has a lot of diplomacy in its neighbors like Uganda. Museveni has already said Tanzania. Museveni has already said he has more family relatives in Tanzania than Uganda. Kagame, and Burundi are the same. They have a lot of diplomatic military connection with Tanzania than any other country. Tanzania has a good relationship with its neighbors than with its neighbors. Very good relationship that when Tanzania starts industrializing, it can easily work with its neighbors to transport its goods. Next, let's talk about Tanzania type of leadership. Right now, the Chinese have seen Tanzania and its leadership, and the Chinese have decided to build a leadership school in Tanzania, the Nyerere Leadership Institute. It's going to foster better leaders that are not corrupt. China sees this from ahead. That's why China is willing to invest in Tanzania right now, like rehabilitating the Zambia Tanzania Tazara Railway. You understand? Tanzania, not only that, do you know that Tanzania right now, apart from having the longest railway system in the world and the fifth, no, the longest railway system in Africa and the fifth in the world, Tanzania is going to have the most electric capacity in Africa when all its dams are done. Do you know that Tanzania is going to have the most biggest industrial parks? So Tanzania is looking ahead of industrializing, and Tanzania right now has started having good leaders, a lot of good leaders like Magufuli. No country develops without good leaders, and that's why the Chinese decided to build a leadership institute in Tanzania. In Tanzania, rich people the government can control rich people. In other countries in Africa, like Nigeria, like Kenya, the rich people control the government. That is dangerous for a young country that hasn't developed. So Tanzania and this strategy is going to become the real giant of Africa. You can't be an industrial mega power in every continent when you don't have good infrastructure that links you to other neighboring countries. You can't be a superpower when you not have good relationship with your other neighbors. That's why I'm telling you, Tanzania is going to be the industrial power of not just East Africa, of Africa. I will appreciate if you leave a comment, because I'm going to make another documentary, another podcast about this, because I want people to know the silent power of Tanzania. Asante sana na Mungu awabariki.